What's up, yo? Welcome back to Trips Across the Border. My name is Max. I'm here with Chris, and today we have on the second nicest college basketball player other than Jeff Cook.
You think he's the second nicest?
Yeah, I give him second nicest.
I'll give him the calmest. I don't think anything ever bothers him.
Chris often says, well, firstly, Addison Phifer.
Okay.
What the fuck? It's like croutons in a soup.
Don't turn down any opportunity, whether it's a camp, a clinic, because you never know literally who's watching.
Make your own decision and stick with them and know they're the right decisions, right? And even if they aren't right, don't regret them.
He didn't know creatine existed.
So you got some creatine? He's like, oh, yeah. Lift heavyweight.
Shipped across the border. I shipped across the border.
Shipped across the border, man.
Welcome back to Shipped Across the Border.
Claps up for Addison.
How you doing, guys? What's up?
Chris often says that if you got punched in the face, you'd be like, hey, what's that for?
I think you're
What's your comment on
You're
that?
so incredibly like calm and nothing bothers you that like I could dead ass just like rock you and you just be like, bro, why'd you do that?
I think that's not to brag, but I think that's because I have a good ability to hide my emotions.
Okay.
Not that I don't have emotions.
Have you ever been in a fight before?
Yeah. I
Really? Did you beat his ass?
It was high school. Yeah, I threw the kid on the ground. I mean,
Even when he said that, it was like, I threw him on the ground. I broke his neck.
He was a lot.
He went to the
He
hospital.
died. I went to jail for a bit.
I was pissed. Yeah.
Over what though? What could that kid possibly have done to you to
Yeah,
make
what
you
could I
that
have-
mad?
We can cut it out.
Loki, he was just fucking with me. Like we were outside. And we were trying to throw a ball around, and he just kept taking the ball and like kicking it away, and I was like, stop, like fucking stop. It's like literally the simplest shit. Just got under my skin, and then he's like, what? Just push me, and I was like, don't fucking do that. And then we just started fucking grappling, and I threw his
Body
ass on the
slam.
ground. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. But
I was not expecting that.
not at all. Like, so he's 1-0. Your career is 1-0.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
My brother doesn't count, but
Yeah, that
Yo,
never
older brother,
counts.
younger brother. You look like a guy who has a younger brother.
yeah, I'm the older
I'm
brother.
good at that. That's a hidden skill I have.
Yeah,
I'm
I
very
probably
good at
told
that.
you.
What is your what is
No, I
your
don't think so.
what is your record on guessing that?
Like I shoot like 70%.
Okay. Actually, before we move on, I do want to say that he's the type of kid he should have had an older brother because you can tell.
I should have had an older
Yes,
brother.
because you didn't get your ass kicked enough. Like you didn't get
definitely
you
didn't
didn't
get my ass
get
kicked
you didn't get put in a headlock or whatever. Because like, did you beat the shit out of your younger brother on the court or off the court?
For sure. I mean, not in like a traditional sense, but
You untraditionally kicked his ass.
well, there
That might
was
be even
there was
worse.
this one time we were playing with some sharp sticks, and we were just throwing them at each other.
Classic.
And I hit him in the
Massachusetts
face.
afternoon, Saturday afternoon,
Yeah.
playing with sharp stick.
I chucked the spear at his head, and it hit him like right above the eye,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to get some stitches.
I don't
Do
consider
you have
that-
any stories like that? Because I have so many, bro. Like,
Oh yeah, me and my brother were mud wrestling, which is like
kind of homosexual, but you were mud wrestling
not
with
even
your
mud.
brother.
It's a sense like we're both on our knees, hands on each other's shoulders.
Okay, you
3, 2,
can't
1.
say what when the image in my head was you and your brother
In
were
the mud?
in your
No,
underwear
no,
with
no,
mud and
no.
like that's a little.
But it was like
homo.
this, like the.
There's nothing sexual about that.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah,
What,
you're
have you-
weird, bro. Tell him he's weird.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Are you secretly a mud wrestler?
Yeah, you're weird. Okay, well,
Okay, okay.
Moving
to
on.
continue, and I accidentally gave him a concussion.
Oh, okay, that's light. That's
And
calm.
I'm trying to think what else.
It's like I shot my brother's front tooth out with a BB gun. Like I've got like weird, like wild
Yeah, but you're a
stories.
fucking freak.
I guess.
Why
But-
were you shooting it at his face?
Well, we were playing. We had like airsoft guns, and like we were running around in the house.
Chris lives on a farm.
I live on a farm, but like
Okay.
he just got like new airsoft guns. We're like, yo, we're gonna play airsoft. So, like we were
Yeah.
like, I was probably 12 at the time. He was 16, 17. So we were just in the house, like ducking behind couches and shit, just shooting each other. And, like,
in the house.
yeah. And he ran downstairs.
Chris lives with Chris has grown up with very little parental control.
he went downstairs, and like I was at the top of the stairs, and I like went around the corner. I just let one fly, and I came out, and then all I heard was "fuck," and he like dropped the gun. I was like, "Yo, what happened?" He ran into the washroom. Like the entire family ran into the washroom. I looked in the mirror, and just like a chunk
So
of
your whole family was in the house. She was actually actively going
it was
on.
just like it was like living in Vietnam. It was wild. And then I looked in the mirror, and he just had like a chunk of his tooth left. So now you look at him now, he's got like plastic tooth. And like another time, I'm just gonna keep going on this story. I guess
I guess we'll get to the basketball.
I'm gonna go after this, but like we were fucking around with a 12 gauge shotgun.
Yeah, real shotgun.
Yeah, real shotgun, shooting birds and shit as you do. And
I told you grew up.
and
you kinda grew up
so
like a Minecraft server.
we ran out of shells. So my brother took the 4-wheeler through the bush back to our place, and
Okay, continue.
and there was this like little spot in the woods that you had to go through this trail that we had made, and it was really high grass. And he didn't know that there was this big ass fucking mound of like dirt there. So he was flying like probably 70 kilometers an hour, and he didn't know that. So he went through the tall grass, hit the fucking jump, went like 10 feet in the fucking air. He went over the 4-wheeler, and like he was sort of dazed or whatever, and then he went to go get up, and the 4-wheeler ran over him, and then it went into the fucking crops, and then he got up, and he was like, he didn't know what happened, and he got in the 4-wheeler, he was holding his jaw. I thought he broke his fucking jaw. Went back to my house, was talking to my dad. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, I need you to tell me if my jaw is broken. He like let it go or whatever, and then he was talking to my dad, and it was like fine or whatever. But then he went back to the doctor like a couple years later, found out he dislocated his jaw. It's crazy shit.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I live in a farm town. Lots of my friends are farmers. They
We
ride.
definitely had. Either I'm having deja vu. Or we had this conversation.
We did.
They ride ski-doos and quads and shit like that.
Bro, I have so many. I'm not gonna go to this tangent, but I have so many fucking crazy stories from the country.
My brother accidentally flipped. What do you call it?
ATV.
Like it's an ATV, but like has like.
Oh, a side by side. A side by side.
Sure. And my dad's arm was on the outside of it, and it fell and it landed and broke my dad's arm.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I want to get. Okay, how did you get here?
Well, so I got recruited by a couple of schools out of high school.
Okay.
But COVID was going on, so
Did you have a good high school career?
I had a mediocre high school career at a really, really small high school.
Okay.
I mean, it was good for my high school. I wasn't a 1,000-point scorer or anything. That was really my point guard was putting up numbers. We were like a 1-2 punch, and we had a couple other great pieces. Shout out Colin Earl and
Shout out.
Ryan Antes, Braden Tudrin, but yeah, I mean, I shot threes. I got some boards, blocks, buckets in the paint.
And you got recruited at high school?
Yeah, I mean, I went to some camps.
Camps
I was trying. Like I was
camps
working
did
my
you go
ass off to get recruited. Like it's not easy. You gotta. I went to the Dana Barros camp. I went to like all these
Any of those
AAU camps, like
any of the Ivy
Connecticut
camps?
Elite Camp. What do you say?
Maybe the Ivy League like camps.
No. I didn't have like my connection was my AAU coach. Played for a pretty low quality. I mean, it was a decent
With
AAU
Mike,
program.
right?
Yeah, me and Mike were on Mass Elite, but it wasn't like Middlesex Magic. They didn't have that many connections. But yeah.
So how'd you get recruited? Like, did you go to a camp and a coach was like, "I want you on my team," or how did that go down?
So Roger Williams, I reached out to them. My coach also reached out to them. We were able to have one of the assistant coaches there, Dan Weidman, come out to one of our AAU practices, specifically to watch me. And I played well, I guess. They liked what they saw. They needed shooters, and they thought my game could translate. I mean, they shoot a lot of 3-pointers, so it's like that was my game in high school. So it was good. It was a good fit.
So you went there for a year?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I went to their camp they had like a elite camp, and they liked what they saw again. So yeah, they offered me, and then I didn't apply to any other schools. It was like, all right, just going there, straight to it. Freshman, sophomore year, I played there. Didn't get burned. I was out of the rotation the whole time.
So
So
then
it
what
wasn't
made
actually a great fit. I found out later.
Yeah. The assistant coach, I was kind of misled. I'm not gonna lie. The assistant coach was much more like personable and sociable than the head coach, and he really sold me. He was a salesman as his second job, so he really sold me. Like he got me hook, line, and sinker. The campus is nice. It's very beautiful. It's like on the water in Bristol, Rhode Island, but there's nothing to do around the school other than be there. And the head coach is really stubborn. He's got his ways. He's been there for like 21, 22 years or something. So, he didn't really bother developing like a personal relationship with like the players. So he just kind of like moved everybody around like pieces on a chessboard.
I've never played for a coach like that, so I really don't know what that's like. Have you ever played for a coach like that?
My high school coach, shout out Coach Rudy Kurbis, great guy. Not very personable in the sense of like it was he loved basketball, but like it was his job, and like he was a quiet person, so it wasn't like Hack where he's outgoing and like shooting shit. Even like South Hall, like make jokes with like some of the guys, especially like all the time. Yeah. He wasn't really doing that. It was like very all business. I was in his office constantly, but I was also the captain, so I was helping him in areas, especially like where I saw we could change, or like I like thought something, whatever. So I would like talk to him about that, and like I know he cared about me, and like he helped me with my recruiting process. He helped with a bunch of other people, but it was more in the sense of like it was like he was less personable.
You see, that's weird to me because I've never had a coach that I couldn't like go talk to him. Yeah, so I don't really know how to relate to that.
Oh, this guy, Mike Tully. Oh man, he would try to make jokes once in a while, but they would just fall flat.
Is it like NPC trying to like be a person?
Dude. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. I'm not gonna lie. He, it seemed like he was in his own world most of the time.
Were they ever like really good? Like, did he have a? This worked for me back then, so it should work. Like, does that make sense? Like, he said he was stuck in his ways, but did his ways work, which made him stick to them? Does that make sense?
I mean, he's been consistently mediocre throughout his coaching career.
Shots fired.
I'm just keeping it.
And he's won a fight. Now what?
I'm keeping it a buck, Coach Tully. I think in those 21 years they made the playoffs. Like, they made the playoffs consistently, but they never really won. I think they won like maybe one or two times. Maybe
the conference.
Maybe, like, and I could fact check this, but it's like they don't have a history of winning. But like I said, they were like 500 when I was with them. Yeah. They recruited talent, but they kind of, restricted how that talent could play. They put them in a box. So
how did you get to Elms?
So sophomore year, was not feeling it. Was not about to come back and do the same thing, sit on the bench, bust my ass in practice, and then sit on the bench. So I started to explore some options and looked in the area, looked at other schools in the CCC conference, same conference, and then started looking at this conference. It seemed like you guys really needed big men here. So like some size on the roster, and the record wasn't very good last year, and I was like, I could come in, bring something new to the program, and actually have like a important role on this team.
So did you reach out to any other schools or just Elms?
No, I reached out to plenty of schools, and I had some options. It was just like, this was a nice location because 30 minutes from my house. I was missing my family.
I relate to that.
Yeah,
my family's coming in tomorrow. Actually, very excited.
Shout out the Rolnicks.
Yeah, I want to meet the Rolnicks.
It's hard. It's hard being away from, especially because I've been the last 2 years in the position that you were your first 2 years, right? And I can directly relate to that. It's hard when you go before practice, staying after practice, working hard in practice, and it's not translated. I guess you're not getting those opportunities, and it's hard when like you come or you move away from home for basketball, and now you're not really like reaping the benefits of basketball, and there's nothing else really to do on campus or something like that. So it's a difficult position to be in, and it really makes you like miss your friends from home and your family. I relate to that a lot.
Yeah, basketball takes up like a lot of your life.
Yeah,
it's in your life energy too, like not just your time. like even if you have time when you come back from practice, you're still thinking about practice. It's on your mind.
The shots you missed, the things you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you could have done is on your mind, and your body's tired. Your brain's tired. Maybe you have homework. You do that homework, and then bam, you're not left without much time. You gotta eat. You gotta get your protein in, right? So
Fucking right.
So after that, like your free time is still kind of interrupted. You know,
100%, especially.
You used to say that like regardless of like 3 hours before practice, you're thinking about practice. Then you're in practice, and
I genuinely feel that 95% of my life is preparing for practice or being in practice.
or reflecting on practice.
Yeah. Like, because, so let's just say, for example, my day today, we had practice from 4 to 6, film at 3:30. I knew we were going to do this podcast, so I usually would go to the gym at night to Burke's from like 8:30 to 9:30 to 10, whatever, around then.
Oh, you be in Burke's?
Yeah.
At night?
Yeah.
Oh, he be in Burke's.
I'd be in fucking Burke's. But what do you call it? That's why Mike called me, because I go with Mike a lot. And we work on some stuff, we work on some action, some game shots, and directly translates. Because I hit a lot of shots from away to that kick in the corner or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we worked on that a lot, which helped me feel confident, like work on like game reps, right?
Love that.
But I knew I was gonna do that, so I went like an hour early. So I got there at 2:30. I had some stuff I wanted to work on. I feel like I've been addressing my weaknesses, which are right now, I guess, finishing on the rim, handling the ball, stuff like that. And I've also got a lot of shots up, like, because I feel like if I get subbed on the court, like it's gonna be like run chase or something like that. Like you know what I mean? I'm not gonna get subbed on the court just to be a piece, especially because we're lacking in shooting, and all I can do is shoot right now. So like it's gonna be a play. So I was working on some game shots in some of those sets I wanted to work on. So I got there an hour early, but I also half an hour before I go to the gym, I have this whole like pre-practice routine that I go through to help me like focus, just help me focus and just be in the right mindset to be effective and be in the right mindset in practice. So that means I started at 2, and my last class ended at 12, and I had eat lunch till 12:30. So now I really have 12:30 to 2.
Yeah.
And then now we're here, and
That's
it's
right.
7:30.
Yeah.
Right? Because I spent half an hour preparing practice, an hour before practice, half an hour film. It's like, what, like 4.5 hour day or whatever.
Sometimes you feel like it's all going down the drain.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Well,
no, I feel like if I wasn't playing, I reflect on this, like, okay, well, I'm not playing right now, but like basketball gives me a lot of purpose in the sense of I wake up to achieve something. At least like I'm getting better. I'm working towards something. Mm-hmm. Now we don't know how far away that is, but at least there's.
I do.
At least,
I don't.
fuck you.
I'm just talking about I'm just talking
But there's something to work towards. Now, if I didn't play basketball, I feel like I would just wake up and I'd be lost.
I feel.
Is that a shot?
I agree in a lot of senses.
No, because you have a purpose. Because you wake up, you think of ways to create content, either individually or through the podcast. You lift weights. I don't have.
But most of my life is still fucking centered around basketball. For being brutally honest.
But I haven't found a passion outside of shooting that ball from behind the arc, and so I'm gonna keep doing that. And
it's funny how you didn't say passion for basketball, just shooting. It's the only aspect you enjoy.
No, I love basketball.
But who knows what your other passion could be, bro?
But I think like right now, and that could change. Like Ian asked me, he's like, "Yo, so if you don't play next year, like if you don't play for this whole year, and like there's not really an opportunity, like next year, like you don't really see that, then what are you gonna do?" I'm like, last year, I didn't play last year, I'm gonna die. But I closed. I internally decided.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, rest in peace, Madai. I internally decided that I'm not ready to give up the fight yet. So
That's right.
was lucky enough to find another school, and now I'm here.
That's
And
right.
I'm like in this moment, I'm not ready to give up the fight. But at the end of the year, I might not. Maybe I have no idea, right? But take it day by day. Give it 100% effort every single day, and we'll see what happens.
It's not even like you lose the fight.
No.
Like you didn't lose the fight because you tried your hardest the whole time.
Exactly.
You were working towards.
I'm
that
getting a
goal.
lot of. Like, I actually wrote this down because I was like, at one point, I felt like, well, now I'm back in the same situation. Like, am I really enjoying basketball? Like, what does it really do for me if I'm not playing as of right now? And I wrote down a list of things that like basketball gives me outside of any. Outside of playing in the game and like experiencing those things that it comes with, it's like it gives me not only a sense of purpose, a sense to keeps me in shape, a sense of like belonging to a team, friends. Like I would never met you if we were not. What do you call it? Like I would not have met a lot of people. I've never met Chris. I would not have met a lot of people who I'm very close with if it wasn't through basketball. And if I just say I came to campus, like I would have a lot more of a difficult time building connections if basketball wasn't a segue to help me do those things and help. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? So there's a lot of positive things. And at the end of the day, it's just like, it's an experience. And it's a unique experience. right? And it just
Very
gives me something
rare.
to fight for. Like, if I would have no idea what I would be fighting for.
I've been like developing this idea, but it's not even revolutionary. It's like basketball is like a metaphor for life. Like if you're, if you're putting all this time and effort into it, and you're really keeping yourself disciplined, working hard, that's gonna translate.
100%.
Like when you have a job and you have other responsibilities, you have a team that you're working with. You need to treat that team the same way you're treating this team. Like encourage other people.
100%.
Like it all translates
And it definitely does.
straight
Like,
into
We had
life.
Stephanie Rednick come on. She wrote a book about that,
Yeah,
about
she
like
wrote a
lessons from sports that can translate into life.
Yeah.
She wrote it was like 99 lessons, whatever. But like even Chris will see, like, because me and Chris are roommates for those that don't know. But like I'm super anal about everything. Whether it's school, whether it's anything outside of school, basketball, like I treat everything the same, and I think that's because of
It's mildly annoying.
the discipline and the work ethic, the perseverance that I've learned through basketball. Right?
He's super OCD about anything and everything. I can't leave the door open. He can't leave a task unfinished.
I can't leave a task. I can't, like, if I have homework, I have to finish it.
Bro, it's
I
like
respect
if he
that.
gets
That's not me, though.
if he gets accounting homework in at a 10 a.m. class, it will be done by 1 o'clock.
Even
Like,
if it's, like, I leave accounting homework
if it's
Sunday.
due 2 weeks from now, it doesn't matter. He can't leave it unfinished.
Shit, that's me. The
But
last hour,
I think that basketball has really instilled a lot of those
procrastinator.
qualities, like a lot of that discipline in myself as well.
I've been questioning lately whether it's like basketball or like who you were before basketball. Because like I think
you just bring that
Basketball
to
is basketball is not. Basketball doesn't make or basketball is a segue to help you learn lessons.
I think
you play basketball the way you live life.
Yeah.
That's what I was
How
gonna
you do
say.
anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, but like for basketball with me, it's like I don't know if basketball turned me into someone who had discipline or if it just brought out the discipline I already had in me. So it's like it's a weird concept to try and grasp. Like I
I
don't know.
understand what you mean, but I think that I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it gives you an opportunity to show discipline, but it also, like, if you don't be fucking disciplined, you're gonna get fucked.
So it's immediate
Yeah.
repercussions.
Yeah.
That kind of gives me a segue. What do you think is the most important character trait that you have that allowed you to play college basketball? Whether that be discipline, perseverance, and I don't really like buzzwords, but like fighting, whatever it is, like something that something that you have, like a character trait that you're not only proud of, but that you can see, and that's something that you know allowed you to play college basketball, and that separated you from the high school kids who didn't play college basketball, like a trait that you have that they don't, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I'm at my lowest moments, like second guessing myself, I'm thinking to myself, there's nothing that really separates me. I just happen to be, gifted with like height and athleticism. But when I'm, playing my own game, feeling confident and working hard, like it's like the things that separate me are my, perseverance. Like I was able to stick through that rough time where I wasn't getting minutes, wasn't getting satisfaction. But that's a hard question for me to answer because a lot of the time I feel like maybe like I'm second guessing myself. Like maybe I don't belong. Like I'm just doing this just because like I had a natural affiliation for it. Yeah, so that's been a real struggle for me throughout my career. It's like, am I just doing this because I happen to be? I played basketball. I started playing it more than soccer because I was like, I don't know, I'm good at basketball. Like, the coach wants me on the team. Like, in soccer, maybe my footwork's my feet aren't as fast as some of the other kids, so it's like I get the ball stolen or whatever. But in basketball, I can shoot over people, so I'll do that. It's like I've always been some kid who can work hard. Like I'll do uncomfortable things.
I think that's what it is right there. Is what you said is like a lot of people are not willing to do uncomfortable things.
I picked this. Like this has been my grind, like my grindstone.
You picked your suffering. Like you decided I'm willing to suffer for this one thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's a
like,
good answer in itself.
I think so.
Because like not a lot of people are willing to do hard things. Now a lot of people say they want stuff. A lot of people say they want to play college basketball, but how many people are really willing to suffer? Not only that, how many people are willing to go to a school, spend 2 years
Sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
being miserable, in order to now transfer and get an opportunity.
Yeah, I made.
Not a lot of people are willing to. Not a lot of people are willing to do
choice.
that.
Like I was willing to put down the basketball, but at the same time, the thing that kept me in the game, mentally, was like, have I proved to myself that I can be as good as I think I can? Like, have I proved to myself that I can be successful? And the answer was no. It's like I can't make the excuse that I didn't get the opportunity. Like, I was in those practices. I was on that team. I could have played better in practice. I could have showed them, like, I need to be on the court, and I didn't play well enough to do that. Maybe the coach was a little biased, but does that matter? In the end, no, it doesn't matter. The fact is, like, I didn't prove myself. So that's what kept me.
It sounds like it's almost like accountability that might be one of the things that allows you, and a self-awareness thing, which I think a lot of kids are lacking. The self-awareness.
A lot of people are lacking.
A lot of people are lacking. The self-awareness to understand not only where you would fit in into a system, and not only like the drop-off that's going to happen for 90% of freshmen that come to college basketball, but also self-awareness to address your weaknesses, because it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I know for a fact that if I go up the next level, that these things are going to be the things that hold me back from getting playing time. A lot of people don't want to do that and look in the mirror.
Hard. It's fucking hard. I was in the gym today working on my ball handling.
Yeah.
I feel like shit, that's fucking so uncomfortable when I'm dribbling and I keep losing the ball and like I'm trying to go up and down the court, put the ball through my legs as fast as I can and push myself, and it takes me 5 minutes to get up and down the court because I'm really pushing myself and I'm really trying to get better. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like I'm more confident dribbling the ball than I even was 3 days ago. Like, so it's definitely worth it, but it's just how many people are willing to do that is the question.
It's kind of a parallel to weightlifting too that I've realized lately is like in the gym, I'm not going to call a kid out, but like there was a kid doing bicep curls and he's got the fucking thing maxed, but he's just like throwing the shit around and his biceps are like the size of my forearm. He's got tiny arms. And then I come over and I'm putting like half the stack on and I'm just
Shout out
dying.
Jonas.
It's not Jonas. It's not Jonas. I fucking love Jonas. And I would never let him do that. This kid, I don't really.
You're like his mentor. Yeah.
But like, it's like,
Shout out Jonas.
are you willing to maybe not look as strong, but get a better result in the end? It's like just the ego gets in the way of a lot of people's goals, because it's like, I don't want to look weak in front of everyone in the gym, so I'm going to max out the stack and get a really shitty workout just so I look strong, versus like I'm going up, I could put on 50 pounds, I do not give a fuck. If I'm dying on that, that's what I want to see.
Have you ever dealt with that? Have you ever dealt with like, I think how I want to work
Ego
this.
getting in the way?
Maybe just like thinking about what other people think and that holding you back from stuff.
For sure, bro. I feel like I passed up on so many opportunities because I was like, well, I don't want to be bad at something. Like, I want to be good at whatever I do. And the reality is it's unrealistic.
Like yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't always be Michael Jordan at everything, right? So
Well, that's the nature of finding new skills. Is like you have to be willing to suck for a certain period of time before, like,
a lot of people are not willing to suck, and that's why a lot of people are not doing.
pause.
Why does that automatically have to be gay?
Why are you willing to suck?
Not
That
only
just
boys
threw
suck,
me off,
but
bro.
Max,
Like,
would you say that you're willing to suck? Like, realistic.
That's super plus. That's super plus.
okay, moving on, because we kind of already touched on this, but what do you think is something that you struggled with in your basketball career that you overcame? And if so, like, is there something in your basketball career that you struggled with and overcame? And if so, how did you do that? Like, maybe, like...
I think effort. Like,
Okay.
it goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. Like, if you never play 100%, you're full gas, full throttle, then it's easy to say to yourself, like, it's whatever. Like, they scored. I wasn't really playing as hard as I could. But I've only recently have I realized and been able to, like, just try to push myself as hard as I can. Like, if you want to win at this level, and we've said it,
Fucking hard,
wins don't just come to you, bro.
Winning is
Each
fucking hard.
win, you have to earn it, bro. 100%. And that's all effort. So I'm like, I'm in the game. It's like, I could have contested that shot. Why didn't I contest that shot? Well, I don't know. I was a little tired, or I thought he was gonna get to it. No, it's like you have to do everything you can if you want to be the best version of yourself. Like, and I don't think I've been doing that my whole career. I think it's more recently I've been able to tap into that, just wanting to win more than anything else.
there's two things I want to say about that. Is like the one thing, if you never give 100%, you always have an out. Like you can never get fully embarrassed because it's like, well, I only gave 75%. Exactly. So it's like you can never fully get. Your weaknesses will never be fully exposed, so you can just hide behind the.
You can lie to yourself.
Yeah.
And say
a lot of
like,
people are lying to themselves.
Yeah.
And the thing I was gonna say next is like, before I got to college basketball, I had no idea what intensity looked like. Like I thought I was pushing myself and dribbling workouts and shit. And then you get on a college basketball floor and it's like, oh, this is what hard work really looks like. I don't think a lot of kids or people in general know what true intensity looks like and how far they could actually push themselves. Because like when you're running a sprint, or if you're in practice and your coach says, if we get more than 5 turnovers right now, you're gonna run a 17. The level of attention to detail and the focus that goes hand in hand with that is unparalleled in anything else I've experienced in my life. And I think after that 1 year of college basketball, that's something that I bring with me in every other aspect of life, whether it's the podcast or weightlifting or whatever. It's like, if I see someone else in the gym doing something that is not them giving 100%, it actually aggravates me now. Where it's like, I see a guy doing 10 pounds on bicep curls, but I know he could be doing 50 and getting a way better fucking stretch or whatever. It kind of aggravates me because I know there's more in that person. And that's something that like I don't want to see in myself. So now externally, it just makes me angry to see that.
You want to bring the best out of other people
That too. But like, yeah.
I have a question. What do you think? So we've been talking a lot about like basketball and like how it impacts like other parts of your life and like what you learn from basketball. What's like, because you just had a job interview today. That's why he's dressed like he's.
I was going to ask that question. I was like, he dressed up really nice for the podcast.
Yeah,
He's the only person to ever do that.
Today, so that's why he's like to practice. But like, what kind of, and I think.
Wait,
like,
before we move on, did you kill it?
Oh yeah, I killed it.
We just had a presentation on interviews that we fucking killed.
That's right. That's right.
You better fucking kill that
Practice
shit.
makes perfect.
No, she said she's gonna offer me the position after the next interview. So
Awesome.
Damn.
I like that.
Addy moving up in the world.
For sure. But so, like, excelling and succeeding in the business world and whatever job post athletics is like you take a lot of skills from your time in athletics, right? Mm-hmm. So what's something from basketball that you've that's helped you succeed in other areas, whether it be the interview today or whether it be stuff you've done previously?
Yeah, I think being able to take criticism.
Huge one.
That's a big one.
Huge one. That's a really good answer, actually.
And it's something you always have to work at. You can't just like check that box like, okay, I'm good at taking criticism. I have that skill unlocked. It's like, no. It hurts every time someone critiques you and you're like, they're right. They're fucking right. Like, I have to accept that they're right. Like, even just now, we were talking about weaknesses in each other's games. Like, and the only way to grow is to be honest with yourself. And so, like, when someone calls you out on shit, you have to, like, take a real look at yourself.
Be around people that call you out on your shit. Yeah. Be around people that call you out.
I'm trying to do that more often now because I think.
Because I told you, because I fucking had a conversation.
Well, because you kept yelling at me, and then I was like, well, it kind of makes sense. So now, like, recently I've just been on a tear where it's like, if someone does something and they genuinely, they ask me genuinely, how'd you feel about that? I'm just going to say to their face, like, you either sucked or whatever happened. Like, I've just been doing that recently. Ian,
and Chris all went to the same school last year, so we're all very close. And after a lot of practice, a lot of games, Ian would come in, and I would keep it real with him. And Chris would often try and play both sides, try and not be too confrontational. I'm like, Chris, like, you're a fucking idiot. He just said some outrageous shit. And you're just like, yeah, I can see that perspective. Like, and yesterday you tore a strip off him.
I did, and I'm going to sit on that. But, yeah, I don't know. Recently I've just been like, because I think the guy you want in your corner is the guy that at some point you look at him and you go, I'm not going to lie, I don't really fucking like you for what you just said. But then if you can go back and understand what he said was actually true.
And out of love.
If someone's willing to hurt your feelings to make sure they get the best of you, that's the person you want in your corner.
100%.
No, I think my best friend, he played at Roger Williams with me, and we both left. He's playing at Gordon this year.
Did he have playing time at Roger Williams? Or?
He was hurt most of the time. He played more than me freshman year, and he had like a couple great games, and then like his playing time kind of just dropped off, and the coaches just like he didn't get along with the coaches, and he had this injury. He had a surgery on his back. It's been a long process for him, but he has an opportunity now, and he's killing it. So I love that. Yeah, so he's probably like one of the harshest critics that I have. Like he's not afraid to be real with you. And if you meet him, there's layers to him. Like, he's not going to do that to everybody.
Yeah.
But if he really, like, he thinks that you're close, like, you guys have a close relationship, he will call you out, and you have to be ready. And a lot of times I've hated him for what he said. And sometimes he's been wrong. But like most of the time when he's calling me out like that, he's mostly right. Like he's onto something real that I haven't even seen. So
You need people like that.
I've noticed like people, for the podcast especially, it's like if I ask people who I'm semi close with or who like want to protect my feelings and we release a really bad
the podcast
episode,
was good,
they're like, yeah, it was good. I like this part and this part. And it's like there's been about consistently 2 kids that I send it to, and it's the only 2 kids I send it to because they will rip.
Who are they? Sam?
Sam, kind of, because he said the intro was long, whatever. But the other kid, Hunter, he will go through from start to finish. He watches every episode and he'll just tear a strip off of all the parts. He's like, I was bored during this part. This part's boring. Cut that. Snip this. Whatever.
Who
And
does
it's
that
like,
shit?
who?
My fucking mom.
Good. We need it,
I
bro.
told you all the
yeah,
feedback.
shout out mom.
Shout out my mom. But shout out Alyssa Rowling.
Most of the feedback is telling her son to stop talking so fucking much.
No, she tells us she does a lot of feedback. She's like, I didn't like this.
And the thing is too, though, every piece of feedback you get, I heard this in another podcast, and I really fucking like this, was there's like a hierarchy of feedback where it's like the person you get it from, if they've never gone to the place that you're trying to go, it's like you kind of have to dispel that piece of advice. Because like if you talk to someone who doesn't know basketball and they're like, oh, you should have done this on this play, it's like, I don't know.
Like when I told you how to play defense in first. One time we were playing threes.
I'm gonna have to cut that, bro. He probably doesn't watch this, but yeah, I'll cut it.
You can take a drink. Like, what do you call it? That's totally not Elms property water bottle.
That's getting left in. But what were we talking about before this? Because I felt like I was wanted to say something.
I asked Addy what skills.
Oh, I was going to say the
basketball
critique thing. The critique thing. Like, there's levels to like who you should take criticism from. And it's like the bottom level is somebody who's never been to where you want to go and has never taken someone that spot either. So it's like the highest level is like if they've been to the place that you want to go. So like if someone was a college basketball player and has taken someone to a college basketball player level, and they were like you. So it's like if someone has played college basketball, taken someone with your exact build, your exact skills, and turned them into a really good college basketball player, and they give you criticism, that's like the highest level of something that you should take in and like really digest what they said. But it's like on the levels type thing. It's like if they've never played basketball, it's gonna be really hard for me to take their advice seriously.
Yeah, but I mean, in the same breath, you gotta listen to everybody.
Yeah, no, I do. It's like that's another thing too. Is like if I get the same piece of criticism 3 times, even if it's from people who don't play basketball, then you have to start looking at it like, okay, maybe this is pretty truthful. If 3 people tell me the exact same thing.
I mean, people are smart. People who don't play basketball can still be very, like analytical about the game, even if they've never played. You know, some coaches never play basketball.
But one of the quotes from last episode that Jake said that I'm wondering if you can touch on is basketball allows me to be myself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's true or not?
Yeah, I feel like, you play basketball the way you do everything. You know, your personality comes through. And sometimes my personality isn't the best basketball personality. Like
I feel that heavily.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm a thoughtful person, and it's not always beneficial to be thoughtful in a basketball game.
That is true.
You gotta be
You're
like
a dickhead. I'm not a fucking dickhead.
you gotta be a dickhead. You gotta be
You're
aggressive.
Well, never mind.
You gotta have a little dickhead.
You're an asshole.
I do have a little dickhead.
Pause.
And you suck.
Pause.
Maybe that's not the right metric. And you suck.
Pause. All right. But yeah, like, man, personality-wise, I'm not gonna
You're not a
always
super
get up in
aggressive
someone's
person.
grill.
Not gonna push the ball in someone's face.
But I've developed that side of my basketball game. So like,
One could say though that
100%
like
effort.
your ability to stay calm under any circumstances could
Yeah.
be seen as a strength too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, coaches, played football. I played baseball. I played soccer. I played basketball. I've had a lot of coaches. A lot of them have tried to get a rise out of me because I felt like I wasn't intense enough.
I feel that. Last year I
and
had
I
the coach
feel
the
like-
exact same thing to me.
I feel like my weakness is also one of my strengths. Like being calm, being thoughtful is a strength for me. And when they try to get a rise out of me by like trying to make me angry, shit just backfires. Shit's just like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he coming at me like that? Like, he's not giving me criticism. He's just yelling at me. Like, my high school coach, my football coach, like my baseball coach, when I like made a mistake, just straight yelling at me, and that low key it just gets me to like shut down and be like pissed off at them, and maybe that's because some people would say you got to take that coaching, right? And I've worked on that, but at some point you have to try to find something else to motivate a kid.
Mm-hmm.
If a kid can't be motivated by anger, like I'm not an angry person, like it's not gonna motivate me. I'm motivated by like passion and competitiveness, and
constructive criticism.
and success.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I think that me personally, and I feel like really for you, if a coach came up to you, put his arm around you, like, I really believe in you.
Yeah.
And I really believe that you could reach this level, and I'm going to work with you, I'm going to help you, and we're going to reach this level together. You would feel a lot more comfortable on the court and a lot more confident in yourself than I was like, you fucking suck, you're never going to make it, and all this.
Some people. Because, like, I think that's one thing.
I agree, some people.
That's
I'm
one
that
thing.
Type of person, I feel like you're type of that person.
That's one thing.
Like Demo or something like that, shout out Demo, is absolutely not that type of person. He needs to be
Bro,
cussed out
if
or-
Coach Hack would have went up to Demo and put his arm around him and be like, yo, I think we need to do this, he would have been like, get the fuck off me. Like, it just.
yell at me.
That's the thing, though. Like,
too, Ian as well.
Rari.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes
But
who.
Coach Hack was really good at that. Like last year, our coach, he had two sides to himself, and he had a meeting with us in the beginning of the year. He's like, "Do you want me to yell at you or not?" And it was like, "How would you like to be coached?" He asked everybody on the team that, and that was something that I actually heavily like admired him for, because there was kids like Quan, who the year before was a 6-man, but like to get buckets, like he was coming in, he was like a great player, and then you had another player who was getting a lot of minutes too, but they were completely opposite in terms of how they wanted to be coached. And like if you coached one, how you coached the other. If you yelled at Quan, he would throw the ball out of bounds, like he would just shit himself. But if you didn't yell at Rari, he would get lazy. He wouldn't play defense.
Yeah.
But it's like two different. It's
different personality.
Yeah, it's weird how like that comes out in basketball. But I've got two more things other than the last question, and one of the things that we were talking to Ian about in the room the other day was like, after you play college basketball, you view the game completely differently. Like the way that I saw basketball in high school versus the way that I can see the game now has changed, has a complete 180. And I'm wondering if you've experienced that too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I watched the NBA in high school, I didn't pick it apart as much. And I consumed a lot of NBA content. I mean, I know you guys probably watch a lot of NBA too, but
No, you a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm a
I
big
used to a lot,
Celtics fan. I feel I try to watch every game, and you can see the little things. Like you can really try to imagine what it would be like to be on that court. And people who are outside of the game, they can't even grasp that. So I feel like I have a slight grasp of that. The pace, I can't even imagine, right? Because there's levels to this shit. We're just at like a middle level, right?
But some people can't even realize that like the pace of the game.
I feel like this gives me some insight on that level. So like some of these guys, I can understand how freakish like their athleticism is, how well how agile they are, how well they move, like
quick they make decisions.
Yeah, like the plays I can break down. Like they're trying to get this guy open, they're trying to get this guy a drive or a look or whatever. So I feel like that's giving me some insight.
So one of the things we've been doing recently is we had every guest leave a question for the next guest, even though they don't know who the next guest is going to be. And we don't know who the next guest is going to be. And this is a question that Jake left for the next guest, which just so happens to be you. If basketball ended tomorrow, what would you take from it to translate into the real world? We already kind of touched on this.
We did touch on this,
but
I think, and I don't know, I just did this job interview or internship interview, I should say, and the things they're looking for are like self-confident people. Like she didn't say that, but she's looking for someone who can get work done, is comfortable talking to people and trying to help people. And to do all those things, you have to be competent. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to like put in time to understand like what you're talking about. And you have to be comfortable with your own self. Like, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. Basketball has helped me do. It's been like a tool for me to develop myself and develop my knowledge of myself.
Last question.
I was just going to say, kind of like a little bit related to that, it's just like, what do you do in your free time? We usually asked this earlier in the episode, but like, just getting to know you, like, what do you do in your free time? Because you don't live on campus. You live, you said about 30 minutes away. And I feel like I've gotten to be relatively close to you as much as like possible as of right now, but it's like I still don't really know, like, what do you do? Like, what are your hobbies?
Well, I play video games. I watch the Celtics. I like to listen to like audiobooks and stuff. That's how I like consume.
That's interesting.
Consume.
What type
like,
of genre do you like to listen to?
I don't know. I listen to like podcasts and stuff that's like really. When I'm listening to podcasts, like on the way to school or the way home, I'm trying to consume like stuff that's informative. I'm trying to learn.
Do you have certain podcasts, like names of podcasts you listen to a lot?
I like the iHeartRadio podcast, Stuff You Should Know.
Okay.
They make,
I don't know if I've watched it, but I've heard a lot about
they
it.
make like episodes and just like random shit. So I just find it interesting to educate myself on stuff like that. And then when I'm listening to stories, I don't know. I'm just trying to like put myself in a different world.
I agree.
Like so, I like science fiction stuff. Yeah, there's a good series like the Red Rising series, like 6 books that I just finished. So yeah, those are my hobbies. I don't know. Basketball takes up a lot of my time. I really wish I could see my girlfriend more. She lives in Rhode Island, but so some of my weekends, some of my days are spent driving down to see her. But yeah, I mean, I used to have a lot more hobbies. They've kind of fallen away.
Like what?
I like to pick them up.
What
I don't know. I
were-
used to like. I used to make stuff just be more creative.
I used to play with Lego. I played with Lego until I was like 15, 16. I used to build Lego all the time.
Legos are tough. I have
Yeah.
a bunch of Lego sets in my room.
Let me put you onto a podcast. You ever heard of Other People's Lives?
No.
It's a podcast by this comedian and like I guess not his boy. I guess I don't know, but they interview people with like insane stories. So like one of them was like, I was a school shooter or like some crazy.
Huh?
Yeah. So like this person who like
Like they interviewed them from jail?
I have no,
No,
I didn't
they
listen
never
to it,
got
but that was a
How the fuck do you not get caught?
I
Did you watch the episode?
I did not watch the episode. I did not.
They got him after that one.
I did not. No, it's completely.
up the whole time.
It's completely confidential. It's completely confidential.
Nobody would have noticed until right now that you just mentioned it.
Man, you had me looking all like a homeless person.
Do you iron your clothes? Are you like on some Jason?
On some Ian
You
shit.
know what? I have
No,
my
on
dad-
some like serial killer
my
shit.
dad ironed this. I didn't iron it. I don't know. I don't really know how to do that.
Yeah, I forgot. Ian has an iron in his room.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's some eccentric shit.
No, but
That's all him.
This podcast, it's just it interviews people with crazy stories. So like that's one. I didn't read that, but like I've listened to a bunch of episodes, and so there's no doubt in my mind that they had an actual school shooter on the line.
Damn, that's
Or they have like some just weird ones of like, just some like just people with crazy stories. So if you really want to put yourself in a different world and hear about some just irregular, insane shit, that's something you could listen to.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I'm trying to think of like some
yo.
I've listened to that are appropriate to like say, but there's like some insane ones.
Y'all should listen to Spooked. It's like I think it's part of Snap Judgment. That's the main like podcast. But Spooked is real people telling ghost and like horror and stories like that.
I
And
like
it's really well produced. And man, that shit is actually freaky. And they don't sound like they're making this shit up. It's like 50 episodes of these real people telling these detailed stories, and I'm just like, some of this has got to be true. Like some of for sure. They can't make all these things up, and the stories are like really interesting. So you should listen to that. So that's Spooked.
The last question we kind of have on every podcast is just, what's one piece of advice you'd give your younger self? Could be basketball related, could be not basketball related.
Bro, I just jump into it. Jump into life. Like, take that shit by the horns. You know, don't hold back trying to get everything right. You know, you're gonna fuck up so many times. So just go for everything, even if it is vaguely interesting. Like, doesn't matter. Like, just give it a shot. You know,
I love that.
that's what I'd say.
I love that.
GG's.
Thank you for coming on, Addy. Appreciate you making the time.
Appreciate you guys. This is interesting.
Sure. That's episode 98.
That might be the most seductive episode we've ever done.
Seductive.
Addy has him and Ian have the best voice.
I think so, man. Why the